Death toll in Libya fled crosses 5,000. India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor. NATO countries planning to hold biggest military exercises since the Cold War. German economy is expected to contract this year. US President Joe Biden describes the agreement for India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor as game-changing regional investment. Italy placed under unsustainable pressure as a result of migrant influx. I said to CC, the queen of plastics in Africa. Consensus reached by GCC countries to ratify the Kigali Amendment to the Montreal Protocol. Solomon Islands has suspended visits from all foreign navies, citing a need to review approval processes. In Libya, at least 5,300 people are presumed dead and more than 10,000 are still missing in widespread heavy flooding caused by Storm Daniel. 25% of Libya's eastern city of Derna was wiped out after dams burst in a storm. Over 1,500 bodies have already been recovered by the emergency workers in Derna alone, and officials expected the death toll to rise further. At least 145 Egyptians were also among those killed due to flood, as per the officials. Meanwhile, some aid has started to arrive, including from Egypt. The US, Germany, Iran, Italy, Qatar, and Turkey have also said that they have sent or are ready to send aid. However, the rescue efforts have been hammered by the political situation in Libya, with countries split between two rival governments. Russian President Vladimir Putin said that the India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor will benefit Russia. The Russian president said that IMEC would help his country develop logistics and projects that have been under discussion for several years. Speaking at the 8th Eastern Economic Forum in the Russian port town of Vladivostok, Putin said this project will benefit Russia and the US jammed on this train at the last moment. He further said that for US he doesn't see much point in being in this project. His remarks came after India, the US, UAE, Saudi Arabia, France, Germany, Italy, and the European Union on the sidelines of G20 summit in New Delhi on Saturday signed a memorandum of understanding to establish India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor. The NATO countries are planning to hold the biggest military exercise since the Cold War. It will start in spring next year. It is expected to involve between 500 and 700 air combat missions, more than 50 ships, and about 41,000 troops. The exercise is designed to model potential maneuvers against an enemy modeled on a coalition led by Russia named Okassus for the purpose of the drill. It is to practice repelling a Russian attack against a member of the alliance. The Steadfast Defender exercises is part of NATO's push to transform from crisis response to a war-fighting alliance. The drills will be carried out on the territory of Germany, Poland, and the Baltic countries. Sweden, whose full accession to NATO is yet to be approved, is expected to join the drills, bringing the total number of nations involved to 32. The European Commission said that German economy is expected to contract this year. The German's gross domestic product is now forecast to shrink by 0.4% in 2023 compared to a previous prediction of 0.2% growth. The Commission said Ukraine conflict and its toll on energy prices hit the manufacturing sector. It said the 20-member bloc entered a recession in the first quarter of the year. The economic slowdown is a result of weakened demand due to high inflation rates. Germany's manufacturing and export-oriented economy has been hit by higher energy prices and slowing demand in China. The Eurozone is also expected to post a slower growth than expected at 0.8% in 2023, down from 1.1%. It is expected to post a 1.3% growth. The President of United States of America, Joe Biden, has hailed the historic agreement for a new India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor (IMEC) as a game-changing regional investment. President Biden, talking to X, previously known as Twitter, said that the project would bridge ports across two continents and would make it easier to trade, export clean energy, and expand access to reliable, clean electricity. He further said it will make it easier to lay cables that will connect communities that secure a stable internet, and added that it will unlock sustainable and inclusive economic growth. India, along with US and several other major economies, unveiled an ambitious infrastructure initiative of a railway and shipping corridor aimed at enhancing commerce, energy, and digital connectivity. September 10, 1919, following the defeat of Germany in World War I, the victorious Allies signed the Treaty of Saint Germain, ceding parts of pre-war German Austria to Italy and Czechoslovakia. Austria was also forbidden to unite with Germany. September 12, 1990, a treaty was signed by East and West Germany and the Allies of World War II, allowing for the restoration of sovereignty to a reunified Germany. September 15, 1919, tanks were first used in combat during the Allied offensive at the Battle of Somme in World War I. More than 8,000 migrants have crossed into the Italian island of Lampedusa, forcing Italy to push for a European Union naval blockade to prevent boats from crossing the Mediterranean Sea to reach the Italian shores. European Commission head Ursula von der Leyen is due to visit the island on Sunday after Italy asked for EU help. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni said the country was being placed under unsustainable pressure as a result of the migrant influx. Ms. Meloni said she called on EU head asking her to realize the gravity of the situation and to immediately accelerate the implementation of the agreement with Tunisia. The agreement, which was signed in July, consisting of $180 million in investment funds to stop smuggling, strengthening borders, and to return migrants. Aissatou Cisse, the founder and the director of Women in the City of Gambia, recently attended the International Government Communication Forum in Sharjah, known affectionately as the Queen of Plastic in Africa. She shared her remarkable journey and her mission to empower women while addressing the pressing environmental concerns. Cisse's story is one of resilience and determination. Hailing from a polygamous and economically disadvantaged family that migrated from Mali to Gambia, she endured a barrage of derogatory labels due to her family's refugee status and economic hardships. These early experiences shaped her commitment to uplifting women in similar situations. Cisse's journey began in 1998 when she saw the devastating impact that plastic pollution was having on her village. She started to collecting plastic bags from her neighbors and turning them into mats. She then began to teach other women in her village how to recycle plastic bags and other materials. Upon founding the Women in the City of Gambia, Cisse encountered initially resistance from men within her community. They feared that empowering women would demolish their roles as husbands. However, Cisse's vision was to equip women with financial independence and ability to contribute their family's well-being. This commitment led her moniker, the Queen of Plastic, as she embarked on innovative projects to transform waste into economic opportunities. Drawing on over 25 years of experience, CZ identifies poor risk management as a pressing challenge facing Gambia and Africa as a whole. She emphasized that how people perceive waste matters significantly rather than squandering resources. Waste can be a valuable asset when managed effectively, both economically and environmentally. A crucial border crossing at Torkham between Pakistan and Afghanistan has remained blocked for over a week. The shutdown happened after an exchange of fire took place in a dispute over an unconstructed Afghan outpost. This resulted in hundreds of vehicles carrying crucial products, commercial convoys, and travelers being trapped on both sides. The traders said that the fruits and vegetables in the trucks were getting spoiled. Discussions between the Pakistani and Afghani authorities remained stalled. The stalemate arose as Taliban soldiers began erecting a new security station near Tokham border, which Pakistan regards as a breach of mutual accords. GCC ministers responsible for climate and environment affairs reached a consensus on Kigali Amendment to the Montreal Protocol on substances that deplete the ozone layer during their 25th meeting in the Sultanate of Oman. The consensus includes a unified position of GCC and an annex to the mechanisms for ratifying the Kigali Amendment. The Kigali Amendment will curb up to zero point 0.4 degrees Celsius of global warming in this century while continuing to protect the ozone layer. Meanwhile, the United Arab Emirates issued a statement expressing its profound appreciations for the unanimous consensus reached by GCC member states to advance the ratification of Kigali Amendment to the Montreal Protocol on substances that deplete the ozone layer. This declaration was made during the participation of UAE Minister of Climate Change and Environment at the GCC committee meeting. In addition, the minister extended a cordial invitation to all the ministers and officials to attend the forthcoming COP28 conference to be hosted by UAE. The meeting's agenda was wide-ranging and included in-depth discussions on several pivotal themes encompassing an assessment of environmental landscape and trends within GCC countries, deliberations on non-tariff environmental restrictions and strategies for COP28. Solomon Islands has suspended visit from all foreign navies, citing a need to review approval processes. The country's leader said after a US Coast Guard ship was unable to refuel at its port. The decision comes amid concerns over Solomon's growing ties with China in recent years, switching diplomatic recognitions from Taipei to Beijing in 2019 and signing a security pact with Asian power in April. Western governments are wary that islands could provide China with a military foothold in a strategically important region. Solomon Islands is an island country consisting of six major islands and over 900 smaller islands in Oceania to the east of Papua New Guinea and the northwest of Vanuatu. William McKinley was the 25th President of the United States, serving from 1897 until his assassination in 1901. A member of Republican Party, he led a realignment that made Republicans largely dominant in the industrial states and nationwide for decades. He presided over the victory in the Spanish-American War of 1898, gained control of Hawaii, Puerto Rico, the Philippines, and Cuba, and restored prosperity after a deep depression. Rejected the inflationary monetary policy of free silver, keeping the nation on the gold standard, and raised protective tariffs. McKinley was the last president to have served in the American Civil War. He was the only one to begin his service as an enlisted man and end as a brevet major. McKinley defeated Bryan again in 1900 presidential election in a campaign focused on imperialism, protectionism, and free silver. His second term ended early when he was shot on September 6, 1901, by an anarchist. McKinley died 8 days later and was succeeded by the Vice President Theodore Roosevelt. As an innovator of American interventionism and pro business sentiment, McKinley is generally ranked as an above average president, although his takeover of the Philippines is often criticized as an act of imperialism.